Texas hosts the Wyoming Cowboys this Saturday night at DKR. Wyoming pulled off a Power 5 upset in Week 1 and they'd sure like to do it again. Which players do we need to know? Why is their offense trying to find itself? And what makes their defense effective? And most importantly, can Texas keep its foot on the pedal and handle business? After the show, Inside Texas is the best place for the hardcore fan to learn about the team. The inside scoop on the squad, up-to-minute recruiting news, and always insightful analysis is dropping daily. Subscribe to InsideTexas.com today. Link in the description. Yes, Texas had a huge win on Saturday, but the job's not done. What does Texas need to do facing a scrappy Wyoming squad? Without further ado, let's get into it. Wyoming head coach Craig Bohl has respect in the coaching community. Prior to Wyoming, he was the HC at North Dakota State, winning 3 FCS national championships back to back to back. In 2014, he made the move to Wyoming and he struggled to recreate that success in the FBS. With his best seasons maxing out at only 8 wins, in 2 of those 8-win years, he had NFL All-Star quarterback Josh Allen. Coming into his 10th season, he's hoping to break that trend of mediocrity. And he had a good start, shocking Texas Tech to open the season with the big upset. Offensive coordinator Tim Polasek runs a pro-style scheme. And again, pro-style is just a fancy word for they run a lot of different stuff. You'll see plenty of heavy personnel like 2 or 3 tight end sets and more passing-focused personnel groups like 11 or even 10. Hell, you might even see some 2-back stuff with that ever-elusive fullback we read about in the history books. At their core, they are a running team, but they have been trying to introduce more passing focus into the offense, trying to get more balance. The issue is their quarterback's natural play style counteracts this want to throw it around. The Wyoming quarterback, 6-year senior Andrew Peasley, isn't a passer. He was the worst graded quarterback if added to the Big 12 last year. He had a 52% completion percentage on the season with the lowest yards per attempt, only averaging 5.7 yards per pass. There's several league running backs that average more per carry on the ground. This trend held true in Week 1 versus Texas Tech as well, averaging a 53% completion percentage and only 4.4 yards per attempt. In 2022, he only had 10 touchdowns, which was the lowest of any starter, while throwing 9 interceptions. Almost a 1-to-1 touchdown to interception rate. That's bad. He had 11 big-time NFL caliber throws in 12 games, so about once a game he makes a nice pass. But he made 21 turnover-worthy throws in that same time frame, so he's almost twice as likely to make the bad play than the wow play. Watching Peasley versus Tech in Portland State, he just doesn't see the field well. Similar to Jalen Milroe in that regard. He can lock onto one guy and launch it deep, rather inaccurately, but he struggles to sit back and dissect defenses going through progressions. He doesn't have a particularly strong arm, so he struggles with those opposite hash cross-field throws. So he's best suited throwing the inside stuff like a slant or a stick route to a tight end with a large catch radius. He has the second highest time to throw in the league, which at first you go, oh, okay, that's good pass pro. But it's really a sign of him holding the ball too long in the drop back game. He's just not a talented passer, it is what it is, having the lowest NFL passer rating in the league for any starter. But Peasley isn't helpless out there, far from it. He has a special trait that has allowed Wyoming to pull off 5 come-from-behind wins last year and another one versus Tech. And now I'm kind of torn here because I don't think it's appropriate to release anyone's medical records. It crosses a line, but I did get a hold of an X-ray that displays why Peasley is able to stay in games. If you look here in his chest cavity, you can clearly see he's got that dog in him. Peasley makes up for his lack of being a complete passer by being down to ride. The coaching staff says over and over they don't want to run Peasley, but he ain't listening. It's go time. The crazy part is he's not even particularly fast. He's just able to get after it. He's tough as hell, racking up hit after hit. I swear he got 3 different concussions in the Tech game, and he still just kept battling. And he seems to need the stakes to be raised to activate. His passing improves in the clutch when the defense is sending the blitz. He'll stand in that pocket, make the quick throw over the middle, and take a free runner to the chest. He finds ways to keep the offense moving when they need it. Is he a great quarterback? No, he's not. Does he earn your respect when the game is over? He absolutely does. All heart out there, baby. The run game was supposed to be the strength of the Wyoming offense after averaging an impressive 5.1 yards per carry in 2022, ranking 20th of 131 FBS programs. Wyoming was excited about a deep running back room, allowing them to grind teams down in the Mountain West, but things went downhill fast prior to the season. Both of their starters went down. Projected starter McNeely tore his ACL in camp and he's out for the year. Transfer Whaley went down too, and he's out for the early part of the season. That left Wyoming rotating their remaining backs versus Tech, and one emerged as the official starter during Game 1. Sam Scott, a converted linebacker, made some big plays that game, including the 2-point conversion run that won Wyoming the game in double overtime. He balled out versus a Power 5 caliber defensive line, averaging 6.3 yards per carry. He's a big back at 6'2", 230 pounds, and he's tough to stop running downhill. His size and aggression also helps the team in pass pro versus blitzing linebackers. He would be the 5th graded running back if added to the Big 12 in Week 1. A complement to Scott's powerful style is the smaller, speedier DQ James. The 5'7", 170-pound back struggled versus Tech, putting up a poor 3.9 yards per carry with a fumble. He has almost no yards after contact ability due to that lack of size, and he gets stonewalled up the middle. But due to his explosive nature, he can do some work on outside runs or break something if the gap is clean. Overall, James would rank 30th out of 31 Big 12 running backs in Week 1. He didn't do much better versus an FCS Portland State in Week 2 either. A third option is the 5'8", 200-pound Jamari Farrell. He averaged 2.1 yards per carry and a fumble versus Tech. He's graded as the worst back if added to the Big 12. It's tough sledding when you're down to your 4th and 5th string guys. A big part of Wyoming's rushing success last season was due to the big boys up front. They displayed that with a 2.87 line yards per rush, ranking 28th in the nation. But Wyoming lost key starters on the line in their starting left tackle and both guards. But in Week 1 versus a Power 5 team, the run did pretty well, all things considered, averaging 3.9 yards per attempt with 171 total rushing yards. Right tackle Caden Barnett is the 5th graded run-blocking offensive lineman if added to the Big 12. Right guard Jack Walsh ranks 18th. Left tackle Frank Crum ranks 26th. Veteran center Tulifono ranks 27th. And left guard Wes King ranks 49th of 82 Big 12 run-blocking offensive linemen. Overall, these are pretty good numbers, especially given that it was a P5 versus G5 matchup. For their Mountain West Conference play, they should be a solid run-blocking unit. With a scramble to find a starting running back and a quarterback not known for his passing acumen, the tight ends become crucial both in blocking, but most importantly as an easy short read over the middle to secure needed third downs. The 6'3", 241-pound starting tight end Trayton Welch had a decent season last year, pulling in 22 balls for 5 touchdowns, and he can be flexed out about 20% of the time. The All-Mountain West tight end ranks 6th of 11 Big 12 receiving tight ends. In the Tech game, he was targeted 5 times, pulling in 3 of those, averaging 10 yards per reception. He gets the bulk of the blocking snaps, ranking as the top-graded pass-blocking tight end if added to the Big 12. Against the run, it's a different story, ranking 15th of 17 run-blocking tight ends. Then there's a younger tight end and sophomore John Michael Gillenborg with more length at 6'5", 245 pounds. He had a good performance versus Tech, catching 5 of 6 targets, pulling in the crucial touchdown in double overtime over the middle. He was a better run blocker than pass blocker versus Tech, but he's more their receiving-focused tight end. And then at wideout, receivers were a big issue for Wyoming last year. They lacked depth. Pair that with bad quarterback play, and Wyoming ranked 121st in the nation in pass yards per attempt at only 5.7. For Week 1 in 2023, they rank even worse at 126th of 131 FBS teams. Even with added depth in the receiving room this year, it's tough for outside receivers to consistently get the ball, with Peasley preferring to throw in-breaking routes. The 5th-year, 6'1", 270-pound Wyatt Wieland is listed as a slot on the depth chart, but he can bounce inside or outside as needed. He's their most established receiver, so they would put him in whatever position was most likely to get the ball. In Game 1, the coaches tried their best to dial up plays for him, targeting him 8 times, but he only caught 2 of those. Separation is tough for these guys when they play higher caliber secondaries. One player that is really coming on is transfer Yair Asante. At 6 foot, 178 pounds, he has that slot build, but he's the fastest receiver, able to be utilized on jet sweep motions or taking the shot downfield, slipping him behind the secondary. He leads the team in touchdowns this season with 2, and you could see the coaches trying to utilize him more effectively in their Portland State game. Third in targets is the 6'1", 204-pound Z receiver and Ryan Marquez. He shows up a couple times per game on the outside, but he hasn't been heavily utilized. With a quarterback who likes to improv and hold the ball too long and receivers that are inconsistent in getting separation, it puts a strain on the pass blockers. In Week 1, if added to the Big 12, right guard Jack Walsh is their highest graded pass blocker at 37th. Everyone else is 59th or lower out of 82 pass blocking Big 12 linemen. Not a stellar group holding up against the pass rush. The keys for the Texas defense are more mental than physical. Don't let the hype of the Alabama win allow you to get complacent. Athlete for athlete, Texas has the lead by a mile, but Wyoming does have heart and they will get up for this game. Stay after Peasley in the pass rush and smother any hopes of a potential comeback early on. When you do rush, be aware of Peasley sneaking out of the pocket trying to pick up those first downs with his legs. Lock down their limping run game and wear down the Wyoming offensive line throughout the course of the game. Defensive backs, don't let Asante slip behind you, and linebackers be ready to make the interception when they telegraph the quick inside throws to the tight ends over the middle. Lock down their receivers like Tech did. But most importantly, play up to our talent level and don't take the week off patting ourselves on the back from Bama. Wyoming isn't a soft team, and their roster has a ton of kids from Texas with something to prove. Overall, this is a struggling offense, ranking 115th in the country in yards per play. You're asking a new configuration on the offensive line, a decimated running back room, and a well below average quarterback statistically to be efficient early into the season, and that's hard to do. They play tough, they just haven't put the puzzle together so far. It's really the other side of the ball that'll give this Wyoming team the ability to compete in their conference. But before we hit the defense, the sponsor of today's video is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is a skill-based daily fantasy sports app where you can make college football player projections all season long. How does it work? You select 2 to 6 players and choose more or less on their Prize Pick projections. It could be passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards, and more. And if those players score more or less than their Prize Pick projection, you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. Just hop on the Prize Picks app or website, go to the college football tab, and check out the player projections. It's a smooth process where you can make your entries in 60 seconds or less with fast withdrawals. It's that easy. As a first-time depositor, use promo code TexasHomer, and you will receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. That's double your money up to $100 for your first time. So sign up for Prize Picks, use promo code TexasHomer at sign up, and add even more excitement to your game day. Link in the description. The 2022 numbers won't impress, ranking 92nd in the nation in rush yards per attempt, but I do like the defensive front seven for Wyoming this year. Of course, it's not 4-star, 5-star freaky athletes, but they are assignment sound, disciplined, and they don't play scared. Wyoming has 3 top 15 run stoppers in the interior. The 6'4", 290-pound starting defensive tackle junior Jordan Bertinoli ranks 10th. Next is second-string nose Gavin Meyer ranking 13th, and starting nose Cole Goodbow ranking 15th of 41 interior run stoppers. They have a solid rotation going there, all putting up solid performances 2 weeks into the season. On the edge, they have 2 top half edges at stopping the run, and Devon Harris at 16th, and Sebastian Harsh at 22nd of 44 edge run stoppers. But the real stars of the run defense are on the second level. Mike linebacker Easton Gibbs ranks 4th if added to the Big 12. Gibbs is a first-team all-conference future NFL late-round pick with a sturdy build of 6'2", 230 pounds as a junior. And right behind him is junior will linebacker and Shea Suiaunoa ranking 6th. The front seven in the run game is the heart of the defense, and they're down to scrap in the trenches, but the pass rush leaves a lot more to be desired. The core of the defensive line holds strong, with both starting interior guys doing their jobs. Tackle Jordan Bertinoli ranks 12th, and nose Cole Goodbow ranks 13th of 46 pass rushing big boys. On the outside, there's less consistency. Edge Sebastian Harsh is ranked 5th, notching 5 pressures in 2 games. But the remaining rotation of Siders and Harris both rank in the bottom 10 of 44 edge rushers. On the second level, Will Shea Suianoa ranks 12th of linebackers with 3 hurries and a sack, and they will send backer pressure on third downs. They don't send the secondary enough to meet the minimum pass rush attempts. In coverage, they had a good squad last season, only giving up 6.8 yards per attempt for 34th in the nation. But of course, that's against similar competition in the Mountain West. Versus Texas Tech in Week 1, they gave up 7.2 yards per pass for 71st in the country. They have a good second-level coverage defender in Easton Gibbs at 7th, so watch for him lurking over the middle. In the secondary, all safeties and corners are in the top half of the league. Rotating corner Tyrekus Davis is ranked 2nd if added to the Big 12. Free safety Wyatt Eckler is 19th with an interception on the season. Strong safety Isaac White ranks 24th. Starting corner Ja'Cory Hawkins ranks 30th, and the corner opposite him, Colby Taylor, ranks 34th of 84 coverage DBs. I like the Wyoming defense. They aren't elite in any metric, oftentimes below average, but they play with a chip and they like the challenge of playing a more talented team. They held Tech to 20 in regulation and they flew around to the ball. The Texas offense went off versus Bama, but the run game is still an issue. Texas is 88th in the nation, only averaging 3.5 yards per carry. Wyoming's front will give quality reps in the run game, so this is a key opportunity to get better coordination and push on the offensive line and for backs to develop a better feel before conference play. We can't be one-dimensional and just expect the pass to be there every game. In the past, we finally hit the deep shots versus Bama, but we need to keep connecting since it's such an integral piece of the Sarkisian offense. The Wyoming secondary is scrappy, but they can't keep up with our level of receiving talent. No post-Bama slump. Keep getting better, scoring more points, and being efficient up and down the field. Saturday night was a beautiful sight in Tuscaloosa, something we haven't seen in quite a while. But there's 10 games left to be played in the regular season, and Wyoming is who we should turn our full attention towards next. Let's handle business and see what the full potential of this team really is. Thanks for hanging out. Watch some more of my videos here, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you want to support quality Texas content. As always, hook 'em.